Welcome to the Vertical Sky Journal, the podcast that brings you everything you could ever want to know about Kilimanjaro. The climbing and the fitness, altitude and nutrition, the environment, the wildlife, and the people at the heart of the mountain. Today, the subject every climber quietly worries about: altitude sickness, why you will very probably feel it, and the 10 remedies, chemical, herbal, and holistic, that actually help. One important note before we begin: this episode is general information from mountain experience, not medical advice. Please speak to your doctor or a travel clinic before your climb, especially about any medication.
It's funny. When climbers first review a standard itinerary for Kilimanjaro, the daily walking distances often look, surprisingly brief.
Oh, completely. You read the expedition reports and see a 5-kilometer day, and you naturally compare that to, say, a quick afternoon stroll in the Lake District or the Scottish Highlands.
Exactly, yes. But the variable that drastically alters the physical reality of those distances is the atmosphere itself. You see, up at the summit, standing at 5,895 meters, the air actually contains the exact same percentage of oxygen as it does at sea level.
Right, it's just the pressure that changes.
Spot on. The barometric pressure is dramatically lower, so the molecules are spread far apart. With every breath you take near the summit, you are drawing in roughly half the amount of oxygen compared to standing on a beach.
Half the oxygen. I mean, your body is absolutely going to notice that deficit.
It will. And that is the unvarnished reality. Many operators, attempt to soften this truth, I think. But looking at the wilderness medicine data, almost everyone feels the altitude to some degree.
Which is completely normal. It typically manifests as, a thumping headache one evening in your tent, or a rather poor night's sleep where you wake up suddenly gasping for air.
Yeah, or a complete loss of appetite, or intense waves of nausea on summit night.
And it's so important to stress that these symptoms are incredibly common. Experiencing them is not a sign that your climb is over or that you failed in some way. Mild symptoms are entirely normal, and crucially, they are manageable.
They are. The true danger, actually, arises not from those mild symptoms themselves, but from how a climber chooses to react to them.
Oh, the temptation to hide it.
Precisely. There is this strong tendency, perhaps born of pride or simply the fear of being sent down the mountain, to hide how you're feeling. Which brings us to the single most protective habit you can adopt on Kilimanjaro: our golden rule.
Tell the guides exactly how you feel, always and honestly.
Yes. That habit of clear, honest communication does far more to keep you safe than every single item packed in your medical kit.
I think a highly effective way to reframe this fear of altitude symptoms is to view them as a warning light on a car's dashboard.
Oh, I like that analogy.
Yeah, so if an amber light flickers on while you're driving, it doesn't necessarily mean the engine is about to explode. It's simply real-time information.
Right.
The mechanics, which in this scenario are your highly trained guides, they require that raw data to make the necessary adjustments to keep the journey moving safely. Hiding the warning light or pretending it isn't there, well, it doesn't fix the engine.
No, it doesn't. And those mechanics are expertly trained to interpret that specific dashboard. They have the experience to distinguish between a routine altitude headache that requires a simple intervention and a symptom that requires careful, continuous monitoring.
So if you lie about it,
If a climber masks their nausea or pretends their headache has vanished, they effectively blind the mechanics. The guides can only protect you if they know the truth.
that makes total sense. And, we're sort of conditioned to view physical discomfort through a strictly medical lens. If something hurts, we reach for a pharmacy bag.
Naturally.
But reading through the wilderness medicine protocols for high altitude, the entire approach is inverted, isn't it?
Completely flipped on its head.
Right. The chemical interventions are actually the last resort. We really need to start with the holistic approaches because they perform the vast majority of the heavy lifting. And the most powerful altitude remedy is actually found in your physical pace.
Yes, what we call pole, which translates from Swahili as slowly, slowly. It is an entirely deliberate, calculated pacing strategy.
Which can feel a bit frustrating on day one, I'd imagine.
Oh, immensely frustrating. When you begin walking through the rainforest on day one, the pace set by the guides will feel almost comically gentle. You'll feel this urge to walk twice as fast.
But that's a trap.
It is a profound biological tactic to walk slowly. By keeping your physical exertion exceedingly low, you keep your heart rate down and your oxygen debt minuscule. You are actively conserving the limited oxygen available for the essential, invisible work of acclimatization that's happening at the cellular level.
But pacing only works if your blood is actually capable of transporting that limited oxygen. Which brings us to the next vital, holistic pillar, and that's time.
Yes, time on the mountain.
The single biggest factor in determining who reaches the summit comfortably isn't your baseline fitness. It's the itinerary length. Giving your body 7 or 8 days on the mountain provides the crucial temporal window required to adapt.
Think of your red blood cells as a fleet of delivery trucks. At sea level, you have enough trucks to carry a full load of oxygen to your muscles and brain. But at altitude, the oxygen cargo is scarce.
Right, the air is thin.
So to survive, your kidneys release a hormone called erythropoietin. This acts as a factory order to your bone marrow to manufacture more trucks. The body compensates for the smaller cargo loads by putting vastly more vehicles on the road, ensuring every single available molecule gets delivered.
And you simply cannot rush that biological manufacturing process.
You really can't. Time also allows for a specific rhythm of walking called climb high, sleep low.
Which is built into the better routes.
Exactly. On a well-designed route, you will hike up into the stark volcanic rock of the lava tower up at about 4,600 meters for lunch. This exposes your body to a significant decrease in barometric pressure.
And then you head back down.
Yes, you descend into the sheltered Barranco Valley to sleep at a much lower elevation. This temporary exposure, followed by recovery, actively builds acclimatization into the walk itself. It stimulates the production of those new red blood cells while still allowing your body to rest safely overnight.
Which is precisely why we steer everyone toward the 7 and 8 day itineraries. Taking the extra day just beats everything else.
Every time.
Now, those new blood cells are completely useless if they cannot circulate properly. This introduces perhaps the most frustrating logistical challenge on the mountain, which is relentless hydration.
It's so dry up there.
It is. Altitude dehydrates you from every possible direction. The mountain air is exceptionally dry, constantly pulling moisture from your lungs. Your breathing is much faster, which compounds that moisture loss. And the natural acclimatization process also induces frequent urination.
You have to drink constantly.
Exactly. The daily target is 3 to 4 liters of water, sipped consistently throughout the day. But, I do have to push back a bit on the logistics of this protocol.
Go on.
Drinking 4 liters of water on a freezing cold mountain creates a fairly significant logistical problem. It guarantees multiple trips to the loo in the middle of the night, and leaving a warm sleeping bag at 2 in the morning to stand in the ice is genuinely miserable.
Oh, it is utterly miserable. Wriggling out of a tent into the freezing wind is the very last thing anyone wants to do. We've all been there.
That's the worst.
It is, but the alternative is day-ruining. A dehydrated brain at high altitude is highly susceptible to a severe splitting headache. Furthermore, dehydration perfectly mimics and severely magnifies altitude sickness. It causes profound fatigue and intense nausea.
So it's non-negotiable.
Completely non-negotiable. Maintaining your blood volume allows those newly minted red blood cells to flow efficiently. The effort of managing your water intake and making those frustrating nighttime tent exits, well, it's simply the toll you pay for a successful summit attempt.
The boring advice is always the most vital, isn't it?
Always.
And this includes the other unglamorous basics. Arriving in Tanzania well-rested, getting enough sleep on the trail, avoiding alcohol entirely until the celebration at the gate, and eating consistently. Which is actually remarkably difficult when your appetite vanishes.
It's a real struggle for many. At altitude, the body often shunts blood away from the digestive system to protect the brain and lungs, making food lose all its appeal.
But your body is burning an enormous amount of energy simply staying warm, let alone climbing steep terrain for hours on end. You must eat at every meal.
Even if you don't want to.
Exactly. And we must also add deliberate, slow breathing to this foundation. On summit night, your guides will teach you pressure breathing, which is a technique of forceful exhalation to push more oxygen into your lungs. These fundamentals form a solid foundation that absolutely no tablet can replace.
Absolutely. Now, with that holistic foundation firmly established, we can look to the natural comforts that help smooth over the inevitable rough edges of the altitude, the herbal options.
Yeah.
And the most reliable of these, the one herbal remedy we pack without any hesitation, is ginger.
The old remedies persist precisely because they work. Ginger is a genuinely useful settler of queasy stomachs. You'll find it deployed continuously throughout the expedition.
Yeah, hot ginger tea in the mess tent upon your arrival at camp is a standard.
And we always recommend keeping crystallized ginger in your pocket for a quick, settling fix on summit night. Plus, Ginger biscuits are an absolute staple with afternoon chai.
Now, to be clear, ginger will not magically increase the oxygen in the air, and it won't help you build red blood cells.
That would be a miracle root.
Quite.
Wait,
What it will do is quiet your stomach just enough so you can force down a bowl of porridge or a biscuit. Maintaining your caloric intake is what actually keeps your legs moving upward. Ginger facilitates the eating, and the eating facilitates the climbing. It's a highly effective comfort measure.
now, I do hear climbers discuss another herbal remedy constantly on the expedition forums, and that's ginkgo biloba. Some treat it as a sort of magic bullet for altitude. But looking at the actual clinical data, I find it incredibly confusing.
It is confusing.
Yeah, half the studies show a modest benefit in preventing mild symptoms, and the other half suggest it's entirely useless. Where do we actually stand on this?
Well, the scientific consensus is genuinely mixed.
Hmm.
You will certainly find climbers who swear by its efficacy, usually beginning their course a few days before the climb begins.
Right.
However, we must be strictly honest about the risks. Ginkgo biloba is known to interact with certain medications, most notably blood thinners.
Which is serious.
Very serious. So if you wish to try it, you absolutely must mention it to your doctor first. We file ginkgo securely under the category of possibly helpful, definitely not a plan.
Makes sense. So when pacing, hydration, and ginger require serious backup, we then look to the chemical support. This brings us back to our mandatory opening note, of course. Any chemical intervention requires a detailed conversation with your doctor or a travel clinic before you fly.
Vital.
The most prominent medication in this category is acetazolamide, which is widely known by its brand name Diamax.
Yes, Diamax is the prescription medication your doctor is most likely to discuss. It works by acidifying the blood slightly. This acts as a gentle nudge to your respiratory system. It tricks your brain into breathing deeper and faster, especially while you're sleeping.
So it's sort of mimicking what the body wants to do anyway.
Exactly. In effect, it moves your breathing and your blood chemistry in the exact direction that natural acclimatization would eventually take them, giving your body a valuable head start. Many climbers report that it effectively takes the edge off the headaches and significantly improves their sleep quality.
Though it does come with widely reported side effects. The most common is a noticeable tingling sensation in the fingers, toes, and sometimes the lips.
Yes, the tingling is very common.
And it acts as a strong diuretic, meaning those frequent nighttime trips to the loo become even more frequent. It suits some physiologies perfectly while completely disagreeing with others. This is exactly why it must be trialed at home, never experimented with for the first time while standing on the side of a mountain.
Never.
But this raises a logical question for me. If Diamax boosts efficiency and improves oxygen processing, why not just pop a tablet right before the summit, push for a sudden burst of energy?
Because the pharmacology simply doesn't work that way. Diamax requires time to fundamentally alter your blood chemistry and adjust your respiratory drive.
It's not a quick fix.
No, taking it suddenly on summit night will do absolutely nothing to alleviate acute symptoms. It is a preventative acclimatization aid, not a stimulant, and certainly not a quick fix. It supports the slow ascent. It can never replace it. It's not a summit pill.
It's very clear. Alongside Diamax, simple painkillers are a vital component of the chemical armory. The high-altitude headache is the most common complaint we see. In the vast majority of cases, ordinary ibuprofen or paracetamol, taken exactly as directed on the packet, will resolve the issue entirely.
Yes, they're brilliant for that.
But reading the Wilderness Medicine Guidelines introduces a crucial diagnostic rule that every climber must follow.
The rule is this. A headache that eases after taking a simple painkiller, drinking a liter of water, and resting quietly for an hour is a routine altitude headache. It is normal.
But if it doesn't ease...
However, a headache that refuses to shift or worsens despite those measures is vital information. That is a dashboard warning light that your guides must be told about immediately. It separates the routine discomfort from potentially serious altitude illness.
Spot on. And the final piece of everyday chemical support is anti-nausea medication. We've discussed how vital eating is for maintaining energy. Climbers who stop taking in food and water deteriorate very quickly, losing the physical strength required to continue.
They just run out of fuel.
Exactly. So if you know you are prone to nausea, ask your doctor about packing a dedicated anti-sickness tablet. Having the ability to settle your stomach chemically is half the battle when operating above 4,000 meters.
Absolutely. Now, most climbers will successfully manage the entire mountain using just pacing, hydration, ginger, and perhaps a simple painkiller. But what happens if those mild symptoms transition into something more serious?
Yeah, that's the big question.
This is where we shift our focus to the ultimate safety net, the highly trained guides and the emergency equipment they carry.
This is the kit you hope never to see, obviously, but its presence provides immense peace of mind. Our guides carry emergency oxygen on every single climb. They also carry pulse oximeters to conduct mandatory health checks on every climber twice a day, every morning and every evening.
It's a very thorough system.
It really is. During these checks, they utilize the Lake Louise symptom scoring system. This is an objective questionnaire tracking your headache severity, gastrointestinal symptoms, fatigue, and dizziness, allowing them to precisely track how you are adapting to the altitude over time.
It's a rigorous, evidence-based approach to mountain safety. There are strong emergency medicines available up there, such as dexamethasone. This is a potent steroid used for genuine altitude emergencies to reduce swelling in the brain.
But that's not for the climbers to manage.
No, these are strictly emergency interventions. They belong exclusively in the hands of trained guides and medical professionals. They should never, under any circumstances, be part of a climber's personal self-medication pouch.
There's a profound psychological relief in surrendering to this comprehensive system, isn't there? By completely trusting the trained guides and submitting to those twice-daily objective health checks, you are entirely relieved of the burden of self-diagnosing.
You don't have to worry about it.
Right. You don't have to lie awake in your sleeping bag wondering if your headache is normal or dangerous. The guides are monitoring the data. You can let go of the medical worry and focus all your mental and physical energy on experiencing the mountain itself.
That mental freedom is invaluable. And the guides operate under a clear, unwavering protocol. If things ever do become genuinely serious, the treatment plan is never ambiguous.
No debate.
None at all. It is the same every single time. The immediate administration of emergency oxygen at rapid descent. Absolutely nothing on the mountain outranks going down. Altitude illness resolves remarkably quickly once you lose elevation, and gravity increases the barometric pressure.
It's amazing how fast it clears up. To bring all of this together, we return to the flip script we discussed at the beginning. The conventional medical approach must be entirely inverted on Kilimanjaro.
Yes.
The holistic measures, the meticulous pacing, the relentless hydration, the extra days on the mountain, and the quality of your sleep are the foundation. They perform the heavy lifting of acclimatization.
While the herbal options, particularly ginger, provide helpful comfort and facilitate eating.
Exactly. And the chemical options offer useful support provided they are used in careful consultation with a doctor beforehand. Underpinning it all, the ultimate safety net, are the guides watching over you with oximeters and honest conversation. That is how you meet the altitude of Kilimanjaro. You meet it prepared, informed, and completely unfrightened.
Beautifully said.
Cheers. And I want to leave you with a final thought to consider as you prepare for your journey. We spend so much of our modern lives rushing, trying to conquer our goals as quickly and efficiently as possible. What if the very slowness the mountain demands of you, that forced, deliberate pull pace, is exactly what makes reaching the summit such a profound, life-changing achievement? You do not conquer Kilimanjaro. You yield to its rhythm.
Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this, do subscribe so you never miss the latest from the Vertical Sky Journal. You will find a full written version of this episode over on our journal at vertical-sky.com, and we would love you to come and say hello on Instagram, where we are at Vertical Sky TZDW. Until next time, pull, and keep dreaming of the mountain.